Okay, this week you have an assignment called family involvement. If you watch this video at some point and it doesn't say family involvement right here, it's because I decided to change the name to social media campaign. Right now it's family involvement because that is what we're talking about this week. But if I change the name, just don't let it freak you out. If you're in this assignment, you're watching the right video. So here it is. You're going to do exactly what I just said. You're going to create a social media campaign. um, that could be used for parents. Like a lot of you have Facebook pages at your work or other ways that you contact them, maybe through an app that you could send these out in an app as well. But so it's a campaign. Like if you wanted to say, "Hey, I want to give parents tips," in this case on literacy, I'm going to bombard them every couple days for a few days with this information about literacy. And you could do it about all kinds of things. You could do a nutrition campaign. You could do all kinds of different stuff. In this case, this is our literacy class. So we're doing a literacy campaign. So, like it says here, it'll be designed for a platform like your Facebook page, Instagram, or similar spaces where parents frequently engage. Here are the guidelines. You're going to create a series of 7 posts that could be published every day or every other day. Each post should contain a brief fact or statistic, and then a practical tip based on that statistic. Like, did you know that just 20 minutes a day of reading does this, blah, blah, blah. And then like a tip about how you can fit reading into that day or letting your child choose the book or something like that. Um, and then not on the slide, you're going to have an explanation, and we'll get to those details below. So the structure of each post, it should be visually appealing and engaging. You need to include an image or a short video even, or an infographic, or each post could be its own short video. Like maybe you use TikTok. We can't use that here state-wise. So don't actually send me TikTok links because we're not allowed to be on that. But if you do at your school, you could send TikTok links and it could be 100% video like you would see on TikTok. So that's up to you if you want to get that creative with it. Um, it needs to be no more than 100 to 150 words. Parents are going to be scrolling through, right? They want to go fast, get these fast tips. Use clear, positive language that's directed to parents, emphasizing easy, everyday actions that they can take. Don't give them a bunch of homework. We want this to really happen, so we want to give them easy things that they can implement quickly with their kids. So here are some topics that you could consider. The importance of reading aloud. That would be the fact portion, and why it's important. Think cognitive science on the brain, bonding, studies on long-term success. So that's where you're going to have some kind of fact or statistic. Did you know that blah, blah, blah? And then you would say the tip, like I said earlier. You could do it about building vocabulary through daily conversations, tips for creating a language-rich environment at home, like a language-rich environment does this. Here's what you can do. Um, how to choose quality children's books. Don't just tell them to choose quality children's books. Maybe they don't know what makes quality, but you've learned all about what does now. So tell them some tips about create about picking quality children's books. Encourage storytelling and imaginative play is something that you could do. They need to be specific. For example, the example I just gave. Don't just say, create a language-rich environment at home. Give an example of how they would create a language-rich environment. Don't say, choose quality children's books. Children's books might contain this. Okay, and then your explanation requirements. So that's separate from the post. You're not going to put your explanation on the post that you're sending out to parents. That's going to be on a separate document for me. And you're going to include an explanation for each of the 7 posts that you created of why this tip matters, a direct quote from either a course material that I have provided in Canvas, or that says a reputable source with a number or section. I mean like a reputable website. And that means to be, and I elaborate on this somewhere else, .org, .edu, or .gov, not a .com, not a .net. And I want you to hyperlink directly to that specific page that it came from. So here's a video showing you how to create hyperlinks, if you don't already know. So you're going to submit your campaign. You can do it as a PowerPoint, like maybe you've got 7 separate PowerPoint slides that you would then like copy and paste to Facebook. Maybe use Canva to do it. Maybe you use Google Slides instead of PowerPoint, or maybe you do those short videos like we talked about. That 7 posts that could go out. And then you're going to submit, and those could be like maybe you're uploading 2 documents to Canvas this time. And you can do that without it being 2 separate submissions. Canvas will let you submit 2 documents to the same submission. So maybe you're doing it like that, or maybe if it's Canva or something else, you've got a link. Make sure I can open the link. It's not just private to you. And you can put that in this template. But here's the template you're going to use. So you're going to download this. Right now, everything's in bold. Leave this stuff in bold, but take bold off when you put your name the semester, like fall 2025. And then you're going to explanation, a direct quote from your source, the full citation of your source, and a direct hyperlink to your source. And I've got that 7 times. So this document has some helpful examples. You'll note there are 3 examples here. You'll notice they are not about literacy because I don't want to steal your creativity and give you what you should do about literacy. So this one's about pretend play and language. But so this is not something that you're going to put in the document for me. This is like an example of what you might put on your post. So you might include a photo of 2 preschoolers playing with toy food and dishes, okay? Because that goes along with what's said here. Notice it's 117 words. Did you know pretend play is one of the best ways to grow your child's vocabulary? When kids pretend to cook, shop, or play doctor, they practice new words and learn how conversations flow. Okay, so that one is I was thinking it was more play focused as I read it. Yeah, it's more language focused. Sorry about that. So you could come up with something similar to that one, I guess. Tip for parents. Join in. Let your child be the chef and you be the customer. Ask questions like, what's today's special? How did you make this soup? These playful conversations encourage kids to use descriptive language and storytelling skills. Okay, so that one was more literary focused than I intended it to be. Sometimes I'm just in that brain space and it happens. Sorry. Okay, but anyway, this is not going in your document. This is part of your PowerPoint or Google Slides or whatever. Okay, but then in your document, what I gave you the template of, you're going to provide an explanation about, in this case, pretend play. A direct quote from this source. This is a good place for you to practice your in-text citations and your citations, okay? So this is an in-text citation of where this quote came from. Notice there's no period right here because the period goes here. It's the only time that periods do not go inside quotation marks. It goes at the end when there's an in-text citation. And then here's the full citation. And then here is a link to this document. It's not going to open for me right now, but here's a link to that document. Now, the examples I have in here, these sources aren't going to work for you because they're not about literacy and they're not from our course. So sorry, you can't use these sources. But it's an example for you, okay? So here's an example of what you could write on another source, but not you because this one really isn't about literacy. So there are some ideas, some reminders. Slides should be parent-friendly, clear, short, engaging. And then in that separate document, brief explanation, source with a working hyperlink, direct quote with a page number or section number or something like that. If you have a quote that's from a website, make sure the link doesn't take me to the home page. Make sure it takes me to the direct page that quote is on. Only use course materials or reputable sources like .org, .edu, or .gov, no .com or .com or .net. Okay, so there's that. Source requirements. And again, as a reminder, your facts or statistics and tips must come from course materials I've shared or reputable websites. Each source must be hyperlinked. And then you'll see the rubric for how points are going to be distributed. However, you'll notice that visuals and creativity, visual appeal, is worth 20 points. Creativity is worth 5 points. So that's only a total of 25 points. However, if you do not actually create these posts and you only turn in that sheet telling me things, the highest grade you're going to make is a 65. Okay. And then I'm going to take any point, like if you lost points in this category or this category or this category, I'm going to start at 65 instead of 100 and then start subtracting. Okay. Because that's what we're doing here. We're creating a campaign that you might actually use with parents. I would love to see that. Let's do some bonus. If you do actually share it with parents, how can we do that? Find a way to prove to me that you shared it with parents and show me some parent interaction on it or some quote for like a video, like it has to be a video from a parent saying, this worked for me. I don't know. If you want to do that bonus, give it to me and we'll figure out how to make it work and make sure that it's um, meaningful and honest. But yeah, I would love to see you actually share these. So let's find a way for me to see that you actually shared them. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. And reach out if you have any questions, as always.